What is going on, everybody? Happy Thursday to you. Welcome to the Dads, not always on wrestling, across the Jeff Meacham Network and the Costain Studios, as well as all the socials. I am, of course, Jeff Meacham. He is the Renegade of wrestling, even though it's not a wrestling show this week, JJ Williams. And man, I wanted to say it's WrestleMania season, but it's like we got like 16,000 watch alongs between now WrestleMania, so it's just wrestling season, I guess, around these places. It's good to see you, brother. I know we're a day late and hopefully not a dollar short, but it was what it was yesterday. You know, priorities over passion, as Mr. Foster always encourages us.
Absolutely.
Good morning, everybody in the room. Everybody's already coming in, man. We are just having them come in. We've got Daniel. So I know you guys are doing TV couples. I hope Tommy and Kimberly for Power Rangers, because I consider them a TV couple, even though Power Rangers was a kid's show. I am a shit. You have to wait and see. They're not on my list, for the record, and I feel a little bad about that. Not gonna lie.
You know what? So do I. I feel like that's now my Roddy Piper moment for this show. Like,
okay. Well, we already got that shit out of the way.
In all fairness, and I'm gonna go ahead and get this out of the way right now. Me and Jeff were talking before we came on the air about how much harder this was to do than I assumed it was gonna be. Like, I legitimately had to go to a website and look up top TV couples to be reminded of some of the couples in TV history, because there were a couple that I left off because I didn't really watch the show enough to wax proxy on them, or I knew Jeff would have them, like the one affiliated with Big G's Super Chat. Ding, ding, ding.
Yes.
Thank you for the Super Chat, Big G. I did watch the first season, maybe season and a half of Friends.
Right.
Kind of stopped right around the time Ross and Rachel finally got together.
Yes.
So I left them off of my list.
Right.
So definitely a solid one. Then there's ones that, you know, TV shows where there were more than one couple I could have done.
Yes.
And trying to narrow it down to one couple from the show, because I didn't want to have like Once Upon a Time. There's like 3 or 4 solid couples on that show that you could have picked. It was like I only wanted to have one. Otherwise, there's 3 or 4 on my list. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
And then there's the ones that you just completely forgot about because they're not shows that you watch consistently.
Yes, exactly.
So Tommy and Kimberly is definitely my Roddy Piper moment for this show, because and if Datilla watches this back and sees it, she's probably gonna come up here to Victorville on purpose just to kick my ass.
Yeah, it's like she may rescind the opportunity for you to go to the pay-per-view now. She may be like, nope, you don't get that ticket no more. That's your you done did it.
But, so it is what it is. So Daniel, I apologize for not having Tommy and Kimberly, because if either one of us was gonna have it, it would have been me.
Yes. And I apologize for the Once Upon a Time on mine, because he said that show name and I went, shit. So we've already had a Roddy Piper for the day.
Joni and Chachi from the Cleaver, that's another solid one.
Yeah.
I didn't watch a whole lot of the Joni Chachi Happy Days years. Like,
no.
I remember Chuck Cunningham more than I remember Joni and Chachi as a couple. And that says something, because Chuck Cunningham was like on 4 episodes of the first season. And then he went upstairs one day to his apartment over the garage and was never seen again.
Right. Bye. Yeah, there he went.
But I remember him more than I remember Joni and Chachi as a couple.
Yes. The Cleavers here reminded me, both of us actually, how little TV we've watched the last decade.
Yeah, Jim and Pam, I don't know what that's from.
I want to say it's either Office or Parks and Rec, and I'm going, okay.
One of those shows I ever watched.
Yeah, I didn't either. And Happy Days was one of my favorite shows. I watched it, of course, in reruns, because I was, I think, born the year it ended. So, it's from The Office. I've never watched The Office, and that's just me being a bad TV person, apparently. But everybody's so, okay, it's The Office. Sorry. Never watched it.
So,
I said,
I was telling Jeff in private, like, this is going to be a really interesting list, because I'm curious to see how many we have in common.
Yes.
And, how many I rattle off that he's like, oh, I should have.
Right.
And like, how many he's going to rattle off where I'm like, oh man, I can't believe I forgot that. Like Tommy and Kimberly.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So,
That link you found, that list of 70, I found that exact same one. I did the same thing. It's like, yeah, okay, all right. Because I have watched so much TV, but people forget I very much become more Noah Foster like in recent years, and it's like been wrestling and everything else. So,
well, and for me, it was the flip side. It was movies.
yes,
Like I rarely would turn on my TV to watch a sitcom or a drama or
right,
any kind of weekly episodic that wasn't Raw.
right, exactly,
Or we'll just say wrestling in general, but Raw is the one that's
right,
always touted as, the longest running weekly episodic television series.
right.
So like I don't think I legitimately have paid attention to a weekly show since Gotham went off the air. Yeah, and somebody still hasn't watched it all, so we'll just leave that there. Yeah, just pretend to whistle and look at your watch if you're the person I'm talking about.
So JJ's going to go first today, even though it was
Yes.
not a non-wrestling show, because
Yes.
at
Because
the
this
end of the
was
day, it was
Jeff's suggestion of a topic.
right,
Like he
right,
wanted to come up with something that was Valentine's Day related since last week was Valentine's Day.
yes,
We did the Taylor Swift thing on the fly, so we were like, well, let's keep with the lovey-dovey
yeah,
and let's do a TV couple. So since this was Jeff's suggestion, I'm
yes,
gonna go ahead and go first.
yes,
And then Jeff has to try to follow that and kick himself in the ass if he sees ones that I
yes,
forgot.
yes. And for the record, even though they were primarily displayed on television over the last 18 weeks, Travis and Taylor are not on our list.
No. And for the record, I don't have any wrestling couples.
Oh, neither do I.
For the
So
record,
there you go.
I mean, I will admit when I got ready to sit down here today and ask you for the code so I could log in and everything, I contemplated trying to get a picture of Cool Hand Ange and Ruby Soho from recent weeks because that shit is just too adorable.
It is too cute.
But they
I'm not
haven't
one of them.
officially become a couple yet.
No.
So,
No.
all right, you're manning the comments, so I will go
I,
to my overlays.
I am on it. Yeah, and yes, I understand that Gotham is on Max. I understand.
Yes. There
I know.
are no excuses, but somehow he always finds one.
I made an excuse? No, I just said I haven't done it.
Anyways,
I just said I haven't done it. Oh, there you go. Aaron's watching. You know it's a good show when Aaron's watching.
There we go. What is going on, Boss Man Rift? Good to see you.
And yes, Jimmy and Kim from BCS. I fully lean on that one. I'm sure Caitlin will appreciate that too. And yes, Gotham is on. Okay, for the love of God, I'll watch the fucking show. Just leave me alone.
Well, we're gonna come right out hot and heavy swinging. You've already acknowledged that you have nobody from the show.
Yes.
And so it should surprise you that it's my number 10 out of everything.
Yeah, that's fair.
But at the end of the day, it was the couple that shouldn't have worked, but that everybody was rooting for. It always takes a beauty to tame the beast.
Oh. Bell and Rumble.
And Bell.
Oh.
With someone as dastardly and villainous as Rumple.
Yeah.
You don't want him to have that happy ending because he's just an evil, sadistic son of a bitch.
Yes.
But as history has taught us, there's always that one person that can crack the villain.
Yes.
And so when you see Bell chip away, like what I did there, chip, sometimes the best cups are chipped.
Yes.
When you see Bell slowly start to chip away at Rumple over the years, and you see him start to crack and cave and give in, you're like, can this actually work and happen?
Right.
And of course, we know the story of Beauty and the Beast. We know it works out in the end. Disney taught us that.
Yes, a few times.
But the Beast was never someone as sadistic as Rumpel either.
No.
And there's a lot of times where Rumpel was kind of like an addict. He kept relapsing back to his evil ways.
Yes, couldn't help himself. Very much so like an addict.
So that's the only reason why it's as low, is because it shouldn't have worked, but somehow it did.
Yeah, and for me, the fact that they fleshed out so much of Rumpel's backstory of why he had become what he had become makes it more believable for me. He wasn't supposed to be. This is from Once Upon a Time, by the way, for people that didn't catch the description. We were talking about it. When we first meet Mr. Gold, he's just the mysterious, but there's a darkness to him, and it's like you learn that again. Once it's been off the air long enough, or I'm going to spoil the shit out of it, whatever at this point, and you learn that his father was the one that was the evil one, and that his mother was even more evil than we thought. And it's just it works that his and Belle's love story is also a redemption story at the end of the day. And I'm seeing two more on the list that one I considered. So thank you, Colin, for yes, that would be an honorable mention. I forgot this one. I am ashamed because I love me Home Improvement.
I also considered the Winslows.
Yes.
And I also am ashamed for not even thinking about Home Improvement.
This
is going to be one of those lists where the chat room is going to give us multiple Roddy Piper moments.
Yes. I'm literally watching Home Improvement on Disney Plus right now on a binge, and I forgot about it. That's for goddamn ridiculous, Meacham. Anyway, next on JJ's list.
Next on my list is the only animated couple that's going to make an appearance.
All right. Oh, yes.
Homer and Marge.
Definitely consider them as well.
Again, you look at what a bumbling buffoon Homer is.
Yes.
And Marge is just the epitome of stand by your man.
Right.
There's so many times that she could have up and left him for being such a complete idiot. Not because he ever mistreated her or abused her or anything like that, because he never was that kind of guy to her. He's not that kind of guy to her.
He's not.
But he's just such an idiot and so forgetful and sometimes very selfish.
Yes.
That there's so many times that she could have left him, and she just continues to stick with Homer. She loves her little homie.
Man. Yep.
Had to get some love there for Marge and Homer.
Absolutely. Homer, I think Marge, and again, this is me. We're talking about television characters, so it's like, I think it's like not a real person. But I think Marge sees that there's, this streak of good in him, and Homer has such good intentions. He tries so hard to not literally burn the town down like he did a couple times now, but he just, she does. She stands by her man. She's great. There are a couple more popping up. I did consider the Jeffersons. And
that I didn't consider the Jeffersons or Archie and Edith because I didn't watch them enough.
They're coming later. Spoiler.
I mean, I know of them, and I do like Archie and Edith, but I never watched All in the Family enough to really.
There is one comment that has not been highlighted that it's coming up at least on my end.
Okay.
So we'll get there. If you mention them first, so be it. But otherwise, we'll get there. I'll go ahead and start that. Make sure we come back to it.
Next one is one that I don't remember if it was the website scrolling through that reminded me of them, or if it was seeing something else on that list that triggered me. Okay. Like, oh, what about this person?
Sure.
But Will and Lisa from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I thought about these two. It just didn't last long enough for me to have them on there. For me.
Sometimes, the length that they last doesn't matter because, especially when it comes to sitcoms,
True. Very true.
you know, there's such a revolving door of arcs and something. It's like what really connects and allows staying power.
True. Very true.
It's a matter of what it makes you feel in the moment. And Will and
Yeah,
Lisa were just so damned cute.
they were. They really were. And their getting together is probably leads to the best Fresh Prince blooper of all time.
That's fair.
With Carlton spazzing through the entire set after Lisa gets left up at the cabin. It's just such good shit. Although anytime any of the Fresh Prince actors overact is the best blooper of all time. Thank you for the super sticker, Cat. Much appreciated.
Yes.
Lots of stuff we did. And again, I would think Phil and Viv more from Fresh Prince than I would Lisa and Will.
If Aunt Viv hadn't been recast, I would have gone with it. But when you have two different actresses playing the role, that's two different chemistries, two different dynamics.
Yeah,
and both worked.
Yeah.
But I always loved Janet Huber, the original Aunt Viv, and once the other one came in, it was just kind of like it's noticeable that it's not the same person.
Yeah, for the record, that's why I didn't have Daryl and Samantha Stevens, because I love me some Bewitched and Jeannie. I also thought of Major Nelson and Jeannie, but yeah, switching. This is gonna sound really bad. I kind of switching dicks didn't work for me. It's a cap that James for later. Thank you. But it just didn't connect for me, like you said. Good reunion, by the way. Highly recommend all the reunions on HBO and Max have been really good so far. Friends, Fresh Prince, they've all been really solid. So highly recommend.
Okay. I mean, I've seen the snippet of Will and Janet from the reunion.
Right.
So I feel like I'm good having just seen that because that was a big moment for the two of them.
Sure.
But I do want to see the whole reunion.
Yeah, it's cute. It's the funny is as good as the tender and the warm stuff. So it's all good. And Friends is more difficult now to look back on with Matthew's passing, but
right,
man, it's still a cool moment. Anyway,
so number 7, I have an honorable mention that goes with my number 7. The honorable mention is the one that I saw on the list.
Okay.
But seeing that on the list jogged my memory about another couple.
Mm-hmm.
You know, same actor in both couples, which is why the one that was on the list is an honorable mention.
Okay.
But I'm going to go ahead. I'll do the honorable mention first, and I think you'll know where I'm going once you see the honorable mention.
Okay.
The honorable mention is Kevin and Veronica from Shameless.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
But Van and Cheyenne from Reba.
Lord Almighty. Lord Almighty. Oh my God.
I mean, they were just so cute with each other. They were so adorable. You could not help but love both actors.
Yep.
And if it wasn't for Reba, if it wasn't for discovering, and I'm blanking on his actual name right now, but the actor who plays Van.
Oh God. It's gonna bug me now too.
You know, when I finally discovered Seamus because of Cameron Monaghan,
right,
and realized that he was in it too, I was like, okay, now I have 2 reasons to watch it.
Yes, Shameless turned out a lot better than I anticipated.
Because again, he's so good, and he's so goofy.
Yes,
and he leans into his goofiness.
Yes,
he has no problem being the butt of the joke to make people laugh.
Thank you, Stephen Howie. Thank you. Yeah, God, that was gonna bug the shit out of me.
Same.
I hate that.
But yeah, like there was just something about him, and I always said that if they ever made a biopic movie on Jim Carrey, get Steve Howie to be Jim Carrey.
Absolutely.
He's a little
Absolutely.
bit too old now to do it, but if they had done it like around the Reba time,
Yep.
he would have been so perfect because he could have handled that in living color through,
Oh my God,
the
right?
rise of Carrie.
Yeah.
Just looking at his face, and then you think about his mannerisms and the way he played the goofy, like he could have
Yes.
pulled that off.
Yeah. And you think about the physical comedy that he did as Van and just the sheer ability of Jim Carrey to literally stretch his damn face. Steve's perfect guy for that. At that point, now, like you said, it would be challenging, but if he grew his hair back out, he could probably pull it off.
And
Possibly.
Kevin and Veronica really reminded me of the Van Cheyenne relationship.
Yes.
They
Yes. Absolutely.
they worked so well together.
Yes.
And it was, like I said, it was good to have something other than Cameron Monaghan to make me want to tune in to Shameless.
Yeah, it's hard when you have a actor from another show and it's like, "Hey, I want to, but this seems like a big commitment." But then somebody else just catches your eye. It's like, you know what? All right,
I
all
mean,
right.
it was a great cast. The first couple
Yes.
seasons, you figure you had William H. Macy, awesome.
Yeah.
You had
Yes.
Joan Cusack the first couple seasons, awesome.
Awesome.
Emmy Rossum as pretty much the female lead of the series,
True.
awesome.
Yep.
But I didn't really know who she was at the time. I didn't know any of these people were in it going in. I only knew Cameron Monaghan because I had discovered him on Gotham. I
Yes.
had looked up, other performances of his, and there was a YouTube video of the top 10 Cameron Monaghan scenes.
Right.
9 of the 10 were from Shameless.
Right.
Number 1 was his introduction on Gotham from the first season.
Sure. Sure.
So I'm like, okay, this Shameless stuff looks like it's pretty good. Let me give it a try.
Yep.
And then watched like 10 seasons of it. Never finished the show.
Right.
Need to go back and actually rewatch and finish the show, but I watched like the entire first 10 seasons just off of Cameron Monaghan.
Yeah.
And then Van and Steve Howie and William H. Macy and everybody else. But
Yeah. It's one of those, you follow somebody to a different show and all of a sudden the whole ensemble just like blows you away.
And now Jeremy Allen White, who was in the Von Erich movie Iron Claw, he was in that also.
Yep.
He's making big moves.
I still need to see that Iron Claw movie. Like I know it's way dramatized, but I'm hearing it's so fucking good. So gotta go see it.
All right. Number 6 is a couple that everybody loves.
Okay, good.
The Bradys.
Oh, yes. Another one I forgot.
How do you forget the Bradys?
I know.
Bro, do your homework, bro.
I know.
How do you forget the Bradys?
Still speaking to myself right now.
Carol Brady, like,
oh my God. I know. Oh, terrible. Oh, I mean,
so good together, and like, especially going back now and knowing what you know about Robert Reed and his personal life files, you would not have known that watching them act. They looked like they were really like in love with each other, like they were
all the way through.
Had that custom, that charisma.
Yep.
The only time now where you can kind of really sense it is the Brady Christmas.
Yeah.
For me, watching that, you can kind of get the vibe there that, but any other Brady thing other than that, like, you would not have been able to tell he was gay. The charisma and the chemistry that they had together.
And people forget during the Christmas movie and then the Brady something, as they call it, Robert was sick. He was getting sick. I don't think it was so much the fact that he was, losing his acting touch. It's just that he couldn't compensate for just how sick he had gotten. And pushing through, because we're human and we're stubborn and Brady's and we want to push through shit. You look back now, it's like, man, no, get the help. Like the Brady's will be there. Like, just, and back then they didn't have a cure for that stuff back then. They don't have a cure for it now. But yeah, so many people in my world called, no, not that my world, different my world. Thank you. So many people in my circle of people called my family the Brady Bunch because we looked from the outside looking in, we looked idealistic. Everything was happy, and you'd step out and freaking music would break out and the sun would come out in our house. And it's like you go inside, it's like, yeah, not so much. It's like the freaking parody of itself. But
Was it a
to the outside,
sunshine
it was
day?
all good. What's that?
Was it a sunshine day?
It was a sunshine day if you were on the outside looking in. So yeah,
Here's the story of a guy named Meacham.
Yeah. Who forgot a very important couple here. Anyway,
Yeah.
I am shame again.
It's all right. I'm sure that there will be at least one on your list that I'm going to go dough for too. So it's all good.
Yes.
Number five is another one that I have the couple in the honorable mention for.
Okay.
Because again, I didn't want to have multiples from shows. So
right.
I have an honorable mention and then my main couple from a show.
So you didn't want to have a couple from the same show, but you did it anyway. Just had honorable mention. So
honorable mention. It's not on the list.
Oh, okay. Got
it. That's where the line is drawn. It didn't officially make the list.
Oh, okay.
It's an honorable mention.
So we're gonna mention them anyway. Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
You got a problem with that?
No, not at all. Nope.
Good. Because when everybody thinks about this show,
yes,
they think about the honorable mention.
Oh, okay.
Dylan and Brenda.
Right.
But for me, it was always Donna and David.
Okay. I'll let you go first because I'm gonna talk about them later.
Okay. So we have the same one on the list, so that's fine.
Yeah. I went through all the mucker-fucking couples on that show, and I'm like, you know what? They lasted the whole damn time. They was off and on, but the finale's them getting married, so it's the best ending. Like shit. So definitely, yeah.
But
good call.
But yeah, I mean, when I look back at myself in high school, I was very much David Silver.
Oh yeah, right.
I've said it a few times on the show. I always felt the connection to that character.
Right.
When the show started, he was a freshman, I was a freshman. The rest of the cast were sophomores. He did the extra work to be able to graduate with his friends, did the summer school classes because he wanted to stay with Donna and graduate with Donna and graduate with Brandon, Brendan, Dylan.
Yep.
But when the show started, he was a freshman just like me.
Right.
He became a DJ at the school just like I did in college. There were so many parallels between me and David. It was just very easy to connect with him.
Yeah.
And then you look at Donna and it's like, next to Andrea, she's probably the most underrated female on the entire roster there.
I would agree with that.
Because it always was about Brenda and Kelly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe and no.
Yeah.
Right out the jump, there was the rumors going around that Kelly was a hoe.
Right.
And it's like, I'm good on that.
Yeah.
And Brenda was too bitchy.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. Brenda and Dylan were always cute together, if not a little bit toxic. Yeah. Which, to the chat room earlier, is the main reason why Joker and Harley didn't make my list. They were way too toxic.
Yeah, they were toxic on the cartoon.
Yeah.
Let alone now. Jesus.
But I digress there.
There it is.
Donna and David were like relationship goals.
Right?
That was what everybody that I knew aspired to have.
Yeah.
The good-looking girl, not necessarily fashion model hot.
No.
Girl next door hot.
Yes.
That was a little bit dorky. That could just chill. But looked good enough that if you got her gussied up to go out on the town, jaws would drop.
Yep. I like the comment in there because I
I'm not looking at the
remember
comments, so you're gonna need to show
I
me.
remember watching when David cheated on Donna in the back of that limo. I felt betrayed. I was like, "You bastard! What is wrong with you?" Like, I get it, she's hot, but like, oh, and that was the start of like, man, even Silver's corruptible. No,
See, David didn't just want to have sex with her. He loved her.
he did.
It was getting her to break down the walls enough to be willing to do that was taking forever.
Yes,
He was
yes,
willing to wait up until a point, but there
right.
came a point in the relationship where he felt like they had been together long enough and they should be taking that step,
Yes,
and she still wasn't ready to take that step yet, and that's when the cheat happened.
yeah, and again, as a guy, you go, yeah, all right, but you look back now, 20 years later, you go, I was fucked up. that's
It
a
was
dick
fucked
move, dude.
up. It was fucked up, but you can I'm not saying you can justify it, but you can understand it.
Yeah, and it's one of those they found their way back to each other at the end of college. Her graduation gift from college to him was like, all right, here it is, and he's like, you end the season, you're like, all right, David, because finally got what he wanted. But at that point, it was everybody they were with after that reunion in college was like, all right, that's enough of this shit. Can we get you two back together? Come on now.
Yeah.
And like I said, the finale was great. So
Number 4 is the other one that I had to be reminded of off of that list.
oh, okay.
I told you about it in private.
Yes.
Kevin Arnold and Winnie Cooper.
Oh, God, disgusting cute, right? Oh, jeez.
When the most offensive thing is the New York Jets jacket, that's saying something.
I'm glad you said it first. Damn it. Oh, for fuck's sake. You're not wrong, but still.
What's frightening is that she still pretty much looks like that.
She does. She does.
She's 40-something years old, but she still looks like she's young as all get out.
She has glowed up very nicely.
And Fred, Fred stayed this way through like the teen years and whatnot,
yeah,
but you can still see it in his face.
Yes.
But he doesn't look as good now as she does.
I would say Fred's held up better than his brother, who is coming up later, by the way, Colin Andrew. Don't worry.
Sure.
But yeah, I think Fred. This is going to sound so shitty of me because I love Ben Savage, but Fred has aged better than his brother.
Yes,
for me.
And Fred kind of like his career dropped when the Wonder Years ended.
Yes, he ended up going to directing.
Yeah,
so
I know he went behind the camera, and with the exception of like the cameo in Goldmember and a few other bit parts,
yeah,
then he's pretty much stayed behind the camera. But like the majority of his career was child actor.
Right.
You think about Vice Versa, The Princess Bride, The Wizard, Little Monsters.
Yep.
This. And then you've almost got to like Paul Roma him, and it's like ... Goldmember.
Yeah.
And then because there really isn't anything until that.
Well,
and if there is, you've got to rack your brain to think about it.
Well, he actually did make a very unfortunate character-wise cameo on Boy Meets World. I don't know if you knew that, but yeah, he showed up as a.
It surprised me because that was Little Brother's show, but I didn't watch it enough to see it. So
yeah, he showed up on Boy Meets World when they were in college as a predatory teacher that went after Topanga.
Ooh, okay,
right, and Ben ends up knocking Fred on his ass outside the student union. So it was like, oh shit, like this is layered. People realize how layered this shit is. Yeah, thank you, Professor Dickweed. Exactly. Oh, and he's one of those guys that just defended it all throughout this episode. It's like, man, like, no, you're supposed to be our little Kevin Arnold. Why you do this? No, don't do this. No.
Probably tried to do it to get rid of the stigma.
Probably
thinking it would open it up more roles, and it didn't.
Yeah, because he did that cameo. It was early on in college, like first or second year. So it was before Goldmember. But then, yeah, that as the Goldmember, that's priceless. But yeah, Kevin and Winnie, they're not gonna be on my list because I didn't watch Wonder Years, for the record. But it
he
was
does have the
very
other Savage brother coming. So again, stay tuned for that.
yes, exactly. And yeah, you rarely saw Fide flip out. He lost his goddamn mind on this one. It's like, no, you're messing with my Korean Topanga. I will kick your ass. Anyway, I love that show too much for my own good. That's okay. Anyway.
Number 3 definitely had a couple of different couples you could have picked. I'm not honorable mentioning the other couple like I did for number 5.
Okay.
I'm just sticking straight with Zach and Kelly. This should be no surprise to anybody that knows me, follows me. But you got to get Zach Morris and Kelly Kapowski on there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And much like most of these couples, on and off for so much of the show. But the show did officially end, at least the original cast years, with the wedding in Las Vegas.
Yes. Yes.
So,
yes.
Happy ending.
Yes.
According to the reboot, they're still married.
Yeah.
So,
hell,
they've stayed together.
Yeah. Second, ended up being like the governor of California or some shit, or the president, or whatever it was.
I didn't watch the series.
I didn't.
I only tuned into the one episode where they paid homage to Dustin Diamond.
Absolutely, me too. I tried.
The rest of it, I didn't watch. I had no desire.
It's rough, but the original series and especially these two in their arc, and it's so funny to think about this because when you go back and watch the retooled Good Morning Miss Bliss that they kind of weaved into the Saved by the Bell continuity, it's like the very first time we see Zach and he's going after that older girl, she freaking looks like Tiffany Thiessen. It's like this is exact. They knew what they was doing when they repackaged this show. Zach's always had an eye for that look.
Yeah, so. Zach's always had a type. That's why the whole Tory thing never made a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
Except for the fact that Zach never had a hard time grabbing a girl. So she was like the one that he actually had to pursue a little bit.
Right.
Even Stacey Carosi caved really easy for him. Like, there was like the first 1 or 2 episodes where she was kind of standoffish, but
by
like the 3rd episode, he was already in them panties, so to speak. So it was not difficult for Zach to get Stacey Carosi.
They even talked about it like as the plot of the episode. She's like, I don't usually do this, and it's like, yeah, you do, Stacey. It's Zach Morris. Knock that shit off. No, stop.
Yeah,
it's Zach Morris. We all know it's going to happen. But yeah, Zach and Kelly will definitely be brought up later. So, as they should be, damn it.
Yes. I have a feeling number 2 will be brought up later. And again, there's another very prominent couple from this series that I could have picked.
Okay.
But I decided to go with the one whose wedding brought me to tears.
Yes.
Jesse and Becky.
You know what? I think I had the same picture, actually. I don't remember. I'll look when we get there. But yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a cute picture. They look cute together.
But I mean, I definitely went back and forth between them and DJ and Steve.
Same. Friggin' same.
Like, because DJ and Steve are like my age.
Yes.
I watched them get together. I watched them fall in love. We watched them come back and find each other on Fuller House.
Yep.
It's just one of those things like you were always championing for Steve. And when DJ would go for someone else, she's like, no, go with Steve. He's Aladdin, for Christ's sake.
You belong with him.
It's like he's got his own personal genie.
Yes. That is a big reason why the wedding brings me to tears. Is because of that
Yes.
damn song.
Yeah.
Freaking Beach Boys songs.
I
Yeah.
bought the Beach Boys album Summer of Paradise just because John's version of Forever was the last track on that album.
Nice.
The whole rest of the album is the Beach Boys being the Beach Boys, but the
Absolutely.
last track on that album is John's version of Forever.
And it's
So if
so
you
good.
ever wanted to have it like on a hard copy CD, the Beach Boys, either Summer of or Summer in Paradise.
Yes.
It's on that album.
There you go, kids. Educating you today on the dads.
But if my number one isn't Donna and David, if it's not Zach and Kelly, if it's not Jesse and Becky, who could I deem as the greatest TV couple of all time?
Woo.
Lucy and Ricky.
God damn it. Didn't forget them, but they're there.
Like,
yeah.
They were the ultimate couple. I mean, their real life relationship was enough that they created the TV show.
Yep.
And then they had to fight for Desi to play her husband because they wanted to recast him. And she's like, no, I'm going to have my fucking husband as my husband on the show.
Yeah.
And you could tell the chemistry. It was undeniable.
Yes.
Granted, they had their issues after the show ended. But, and when I Love Lucy was firing on all cylinders, there was no stopping it.
There was no stopping
them.
Yeah, they're arguably the first real television couple. I'm not sure when The Honeymooners was on, but
I think Ozzy and Harriet were first.
That's fair.
And that was somebody else I seriously contemplated, but again, I didn't watch Ozzy and Harriet enough.
Yes. And yes, Emmanuel, Lucy and Desi were toxic off screen for a lot of it, especially toward the end. But the Ricardos never wavered, ever. Lucy would drive Ricky batshit crazy 99% of the episode.
But he still loved that crazy redhead of his.
But you never doubted that he loved her and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Fred and Ethel,
even afterwards, once they got divorced in real life,
you
would hear them talk in interviews, and there was still that little bit of love towards each other.
Yes.
And that made everything, to know that even though they had their issues, they went their separate ways, they found other loves. I don't remember if they had other kids with those other loves. That's irrelevant. But to know that there was still that part of them that held on to that love.
Yeah, I will never forget. And, I'm going to talk more about these two later a lot, but I'll just say this real quick before we go to break and advertise what's coming up soon. I will never forget when Lucy got her Kennedy Center honors, and Robert, the guy that hosts Unsolved Mysteries, I forget his last name now, mentioned that he had a thing from Desi. This is right after Desi passed. And, Desi wanted to be here, and he read off this, beautifully, it's like, the producers wanted to give, credit to this, and this, and Desi told the award people, give Lucy 90% and divide the other 10% amongst all of us. Because that's what it was. Lucy was the show. And for the record, I Love Lucy was never just a show title. Misty now saying it. Because it was just so beautiful. And Lucy, she was getting toward the end herself. But it was one of the most beautiful moments of television I've ever seen. It was just so poignant and so real. They always did love each other to the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. Oh, fuck.
So there we go. That is my list.
Very nice. All right, let me get over here where we need to be. There we go. So what we're going to do now is let everybody at home know what is coming up starting tomorrow.
Yes.
Because these are the watch-alongs. There's a couple missing. We'll advertise them after this. But
they've only recently been added to the schedule. So
right. So that's why. Again, we can't keep up. we don't mind not keeping up. Give us all the shows, promotions, please. All the content. All the content, as Noah will say. But here, beginning tomorrow, is what's coming up. Watch along wise across the multiverse of media.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
And in addition to those, next Saturday, the day after my birthday, you can check out our coverage of NWA Hot Times, baby, if you will. That's at 7 Central, which makes it 8 Eastern. We'll probably be on the air at 7 Eastern with our countdown, if we're being honest. And then just added to the schedule during Dynamite yesterday, it is official. If you've talked to Adam Pierce, no, it's Tony Khan's show. Supercard of Honor is back. They'll be in Philadelphia WrestleMania weekend, as they have the last few years, actually. That'll be Friday night, April 5th. The plan as of now, in discussion with the team, I'm over here now. Hi. Is we're going to do both this year. We're going to do the Hall of Fame and the Supercard of Honor. And rather than tape delay the Hall of Fame, we'll just run both. Like we did last year, we'll just do both. And if Supercard of Honor, it is what it is.
We lost you real quick. You blipped out.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I'm blipping because I'm getting phone calls. I need to answer, but I can't answer because then it won't be Dads. It'll be JJ on wrestling. So it is what it is. Anyway, and to be fair to the comment room, and you can go to monitor their chat now if you want, since I'll be doing my list. This isn't like, okay. The Hall of Fame is important, and I don't downplay the importance of it to a good majority of us. However, not everybody's going to be compelled to watch the Hall of Fame at this point, only because Supercard of Honor is going to be stacked, I think, with Ring of Honor talent that people love. And also, it's a variety. You get the people of yesteryear getting their flowers, but you see the stars of today that are in AEW Ring of Honor that are still be able to showcase their skills. So I'm all for both.
Yeah, definitely. If we're being 100% transparent, I was a little bit flustered last year that we had to do Hall of Fame on tape delay.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're able to do it, and we have enough of a team where we can do both live simultaneously.
Yes.
And there's only probably going to be a half hour to an hour of overlap.
Maybe. Yeah.
Being honest.
Yeah.
Like I like that. And at the end of the day, Tony Khan is running Supercard of Honor against SmackDown.
Right.
Not against the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Where it's, what the heck are you thinking, TK, is why would you run Collision against Night 1 of WrestleMania?
Yeah, that's
stupid.
That's very stupid. Yes.
But I believe it's a taped Collision. I think it's being taped on Wednesday that week with Dynamite. So It's not like it's going to be people live in an arena instead of WrestleMania.
Right.
But it just seems silly to run it opposite.
Yeah. If you're running it live, you're double dumb because you're not going to have people. Because people are going to be home watching Mania. But at least taping ahead of time, you'll at least have a hopefully decent crowd for TV purposes. All right. So for my list, I'm going to be honest because and again, we haven't watched a lot of television the last couple of decades. That's been made clear. I have a hard time ranking. So since you ended where you no, hang on a minute now. I plan to do this anyway, but since you ended with who you ended with, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing and work chronologically backwards as far as when these couples first became a thing.
Okay.
So this is how recent I've watched television and had a couple grab me. The newest couple is from 1997. And they are from the Buffyverse, Angel and Buffy.
Gee, what a surprise.
Well, but it's funny though. I actually debated between these two and then her and Spike, because her and Spike, as intense as it was and as absolutely wrong as it was, I like that they went that direction. So, but I am forever a Buffy Angel person. I'm also forever a David Boreanaz mark, because he's a hockey fan and he's a Kings fan. So, let me say David Boreanaz anyway. Actually talked about him a lot last night with seeing Luke and Stacia last night. So, because I told him we were doing this show today, and I mentioned that I was going to have Buffy and Angel on the list, and Luke gave me the same side eye you just gave me, for the record. If you're being real, he's just really, it's like, well, I can't list you guys. You guys are a real couple, you assholes. But they are cute together still, even now. Luke with white hair is weird, for the record. I officially saw it. It's odd. But yeah, Buffy and Angel, again, it's one of those, it shouldn't have worked. She's a slayer, he's a vampire. It on paper, it's like, no. Oh, but he has a soul, so it's okay. Oh, wait, he lost his soul because they did the nasty. Yeah, that's not going to work. I also had the benefit going back years later and reading into season 8 in the comics and really getting the entirety of the Buffy story, and it still works so well, at least for me as a fan. So I definitely wanted to have Buffy and Angel on my list. The next one, going backwards in time, didn't really get together till like season 2, a little bit into season 2, but you knew it was going to happen the minute you saw these two on camera together. And yes, I picked this picture for a reason, because of where they are in the background.
Of course.
Cory and Topanga from Boy and Girl Meets World. Again, I was 10 when Boy Meets World premiered. Cory's I think they're in 6th grade the first season. So they're our age. They're my age. So it just worked. And to this day, when I get to the points of the series where they break up, or, Cory goes to that damn ski lodge and meets that damn employee and, has the night where they talk all night and he kisses her. It's like, no, Cory, you did that. And then when Sean is the voice of reason, you have issues. Just saying. It's like, no, it's not good when Hunter is the voice of reason. You lied to the no, you lied. You fucking lied, Cory. But even in his moments of Homer Simpson-ish, he never stopped loving Topanga, ever. And like I said, when they cameoed his brother as a teacher who was predator activity against Topanga, no qualms, knocking him on his ass. Because that's who Topanga was. Topanga was everything to him. And, growing up, by the time the show ended, I was trying to think when the show ended. I was either at the end of high school or close to it. So it's like, I grew up the same age bracket as them, watching them just battle everything. And my favorite moment to this day, the one that reduces me to tears, is when Topanga's parents make her move to Pittsburgh, which at the time you don't appreciate it because it's Pennsylvania, it's this big. No, fucking Philly and Pittsburgh are far from each other. I understand Lauren was hot. That's what makes it wrong, Colin. He knew better. That was his Topanga. Yeah. So yeah. I was in my sophomore year. So I was a couple years behind Cory and his friends, as far as actually being in school. But it was still but anyway, my favorite moment. So they've moved. They're 8 hours apart or whatever it is by transit, and it's pouring down rain, and Cory just is just despondent. He opens the door to go take a walk in the rain, and there she is at the door. And they embrace. And Cory's parents are like, Topanga's parents aren't here. So it's like she ran away from home to be with Cory. And it's so beautiful. Anyway, I love it. I love these two. I love that they kept them together and brought them to Girl Meets World with their daughter, and they're just as goofy and quirky as ever. It's beautiful. I love it. The next one is one of the ones
I did watch Girl Meets World for the first couple seasons.
Sure.
And then I kind of fell off of it.
Yeah, I did too, which was sad because it was only a couple seasons. But again, it's a different time. It wasn't TGIF time anymore. It was on Disney. And I think if it had launched when Disney Plus was already active, it might still be going. But ratings are what they are.
Yeah.
So the next one is one we share. And again, we're going backwards in when they first got together. I didn't have the same pictures, turns out. I was wrong. Becky's having the baby, and Jesse's in the freaking costume. Yes. For context, it was Michelle's birthday party, and the family was dressed as the Flintstones. So there you go. But yeah, Becky and Jesse from Full and Fuller House. And we only lost Becky at the end of Fuller House because Lori Loughlin got herself in a little bit of trouble. But you do catch it for your kids, I guess. Lord knows I know that's true. I don't know. Like, I think at the time the show was on, I was still young enough where I didn't understand everything about the world like we all think we do at that age. But they connected for me. I loved the non-chase. Like, Jesse was so like standoffish and aloof, but it's like, dude, you want her. Knock this shit off. What's the matter with you? And then she finally gave in. They dated for a minute, and then they went to the fabulous Alibaba Hotel and Casino. It's like, no, you can't get married here. What the hell are you doing to me? You guys are killing me. And then they did the wedding, and God, the journey to the wedding was enough with the freaking trucks and the parachuting, and oh my God.
I remember being genuinely pissed during the Vegas one, the Fabulous Alibaba, when they called it off at the last minute.
It's like, yeah.
I remember being genuinely pissed. And then we had the slow burn until season 5 when they got married, and it was like, okay, you're forgiven.
Yes.
Because the way it got pulled off.
That's right.
You're forgiven here. But I remember being so mad, and to this day, whenever I go to Vegas, I tell people I'm going to stay at the Fabulous Alibaba Hotel and Casino. And if they know, they know. And if they don't, they're not my people.
That's right. That's right. If you don't know where we're going, we say, Fabulous Alibaba Hotel. Fuck out of my house. You don't understand. Next one, another one you had going chronologically backwards. But I just love this damn picture. It's so funny, ironically, because they're husband and wife paired up in the context of the school project. Of course, they get married. It's a beautiful thing. But yeah, Zach and Kelly, they are our generation's couple at the end of the day. Like, everybody, especially nowadays more so, the whole Zach Morris is trash movement is a thing. But you know what? Even if he is a big giant turd, or a, as I figured out what the theme was, Jersey draped turdsicle, trending worldwide. If you know, folks. If not, look at my Facebook memories. He still loved Kelly. Was it a selfish love? Was it a do whatever it takes to get everybody else out of the way love? Absolutely. But he fought so hard for it, and then he got it, and then it was taken away, not just from him, but from all of us, damn it. When these damn guys named Jeff messed up the Hakuna Matata and shit. Damn Jeffs. Just bad Jeff. No, Jeff, that's a bad Jeff. But no, Kelly, that's a bad Kelly. And then we find out he's cheating on her at this stupid club. It's like, no wonder the world hates us so much, Jeffs. We're just a bunch of assholes ruining everything. And then,
it doesn't help when you're also a soulless ginger.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I'm just battling uphill. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Appreciate that. Between the genetics and the name, I'm just fucked, I guess. Anyway, we end high school with that odd season that was like partially Tory, partially not. But at prom, they danced together. in those awful Western outfits with that ridiculous theme. But you get that little glimmer of hope. And then they go to college, and she's not there until the end of the episode, anyway. The first episode. And you talk about a slow burn and another freaking fly in the ointment that was Professor Lasky, that bastard. But then we get the big wedding, and of course everything's okay, and we see them now, and they're caricatures of themselves, we're being honest, but they're a fictional California couple. So
with Gilbert Gottfried playing essentially a pimp.
Yeah.
Let's just take a moment, think about that, and then continue.
Yeah, don't know where you go from that one, but yeah, it's Vegas, baby. What are you gonna do? Oh, but I did love seeing everybody, including Elizabeth Berkley, who was right smack dab in the middle of Showgirls nonsense.
For real,
Still came back for.
I still think she was in the middle of legitimately filming that movie. The way she ran in at the last minute, looking like Nomi.
She straight runs in. The hair is curled like Nomi. She's disheveled. She's put shit, and I'm like, did we just come off stage? What happened here? It was Governor of California. That's what it was. Okay. Either way, the reboot, the spinoff, the sequel, whatever, it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of the day,
I mean, I guess if Arnold Schwarzenegger could become the governor, then Zach Morris definitely has a shot.
It's one of those. I don't think they could take Saved by the Bell the way they took Fresh Prince into the dramatic Bel Air series, because it doesn't work. But it over-parodied itself for me. It was just too much. I watched the whole first season. I did, and I had regrets. But the Screech tribute was very sweet. So, but yeah, it is what it is.
That it was too little, too late.
Yeah. Yep.
Instead of extending the olive branch and getting him on an episode of the show,
yeah,
they had to pay homage, tribute to him in retrospect.
Yep. The next one is not one that you had nor mentioned. I think because the female of this couple is such a polarizing figure that it's hard to mention them without going, Dan and Roseanne. The Connors from the Roseanne universe, and now, of course, the show is called The Connors because Roseanne doing Roseanne things. But we weren't quite as dysfunctional as the Connors got. But while everybody called my family the Brady Bunch, it's like, yeah, no, we're the Connors. We are the Connors. And you've met my family. A lot of people in the room have met my family. We are the Connors, just not on the verge of divorce, wrecking the house, having fights, having heart attacks, all the things. But the basic dynamic, my mom's nowhere near as smart-assed or mean-spirited as Roseanne Connor, by any means. My mother's a saint compared to Roseanne Connor and Roseanne Arnold, for sure. But I relate to them so much more now watching this show back. Even the first season of the relaunch, before it became the Connors, like I identify with them so much more than I did as a kid. We were allowed to watch Roseanne as a kid because it was so over the top. But I look back now, and so much of that show is so relatable, to the point where that one point where they hit the season, and we find out at the end of the series that Roseanne's been writing this whole series as her life story and changing the details that made it work for her, and learning that, Dan really did die from the heart attack, spoiler alert, but then they retconned it again when they brought the show back. I don't think they jumped the shark. I think they jumped the entire ocean with the sharks in it at that point. It's like, okay. But the couple themselves, they're the working couple. They're the blue collar couple that just barely squeaks by. And I think we identify with them the way the wrestling fans identified with Steve Austin battling Mr. McMahon. Like, that's our guy. Like with Dusty battling the Horseman. He's our guy. He is us. The Connors were us. I did not have the same picture. I was wrong of the next couple. Again, you can talk about Brenda and Dylan all you want. Brenda and David would have been odd. Good God. So there's an image for you, kids. Take that one home for you. Silver and then Brenda. There you go. You know, I actually weighed Kelly and Dylan a little bit for a while. I really did. And only because I liked them together more than I liked Brenda and Dylan. Because I was not a Brenda person.
See, I wasn't really a Brenda person either, but I always felt like Kelly was better with Brandon.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
For me, it was always Kelly and Brandon, Donna and David, and Dylan and Brenda.
Yeah.
And Steve with rotating girl of the week until Claire came around.
Yeah, I always liked Steve and Claire. Like I didn't mind Janet, but it's like she wasn't part of the original core, even like the couple seasons in core. Like she came out of nowhere. But to be fair, she teamed Steve, which is what Steve hated.
I did contemplate Brandon and Emily Valentine.
You know what?
You want to talk about some toxicity?
Yeah.
And when you realize that Emily Valentine damn near got killed by Chucky, you can understand why she got so crazy.
I was gonna say, having met Christine a couple of times, it's like, I'm surprised your sanity's still intact, sweetheart. You play some crazy ass traumatized bitches. But God love her, she pushes through.
And then she looks at you and says, "Who says I'm acting?"
It's accurate. I do wonder about Christine every now and again. I'm not gonna lie. But anyway. But yeah, Donna and David is on the list for both of us because they're the only couple that made it through to the end of the damn show. For me, anyway.
I didn't watch till the end of the show.
I know, right?
For me, they were just the most wholesome out of all of them. They were the ones that you could seriously get behind, that you wanted to see ride it out.
Right?
You know, all the others really had their levels of toxicity to them, whether it was major levels like Brenda and Dylan, or even minor levels. It's just like, but Donna and David, man, when they got together, they were so white meat baby face. Like you just wanted it to work.
Yep.
You know, it was boy and girl next door. You wanted that to be in Beverly Hills, you know, ritzy, glamorous California. It was a sliver of any town USA. You wanted it to work.
And you think about both sides of the equation. David's parents divorced going in. His mom was legitimately, I think it was schizophrenia was what it was. You know, dad's a womanizer. Good old Mel. And then Kelly's, Donna's parents. God, talk about, dude, if there was one TV mom that I could inject with a dose of humility, it was Felice Martin. Holy shit. Like that,
yeah. And it's funny the things that you remember from the series.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, we always talk about Dylan and his dad and, you know, all that stuff. I vividly will, until the day I die, probably.
Right.
Remember the analogy that Donna made to her mom when they were talking about, you know, giving out condoms and stuff at school and how like opposed she was to it. And Donna is like, and I'm paraphrasing here, but she basically was like, you know, it's like teaching a kid how to swim. You know, you can put a fence around the pool all you want, but if you think that there's some kinds of way that the kid is going to find a way into the pool, don't you want to teach them how to swim so they don't drown?
Yep.
And that shut her up real quick.
Yeah.
And that was the moment when I realized Donna wasn't as stupid as everybody thought she was.
Yep. Yeah. I forget if they had found the person that played Felice throughout, because early Felice was a different actress. I watched both shows, Cape Rare, so you're good. But at one point, Donna, who had been, you know, educated about, you know, staying a virgin until marriage or whatever, found out her mom was having an affair. It was like, oh no, you did not, you hypocrite. And then later we found out that her dad, the doctor, the good virtuous one, had an affair too, and that's where Gina came along, which, you know, didn't have a problem with her coming on the show because I loved her from General Hospital, Vanessa Marcel. But at the time, it's like, man, no wonder Donna was so like all over the place with trying to make decisions because her parents couldn't keep a decision to spank their ass with both hands.
Yeah, see, Vanessa Marcel came after I stopped watching
Right.
90210. I didn't discover her till the Las Vegas TV series.
Also a good show for
And I
underrated.
saw that, and I was like, God damn, she's sexy as hell.
Yeah. If you caught her on GH, like I happened to walking by when my mom was watching GH, yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. Agreed. Everybody. Yeah. Here, wait. Here's me. Yeah. Spread it out.
Dean, we did get a super chat from Big G while you were talking there. I was waiting for you to finish to throw it up.
Go for it.
But he threw a $2 super chat. Said, "Here's one for you, Sam and Diane from Cheers."
You know what? I came across them on that list, and I'm like, if I was watching Cheers when Shelley Long was on the show, I probably would have thrown them on here. I didn't catch Sam and Diane's years until reruns after.
Yeah, the few episodes that I did see, it was Sam and Kirstie Alley, which I believe her character was Rebecca.
Yeah, and they weren't even really a couple ever on the show. It was always the grand chase because Rebecca Howe was the manager. It is on Peacock. Damn good show, Las Vegas. Rebecca Howe became the manager after Sam sold the bar to the corporation or whatever it was. And Rebecca was always chasing the corporation head. And it never really worked until they both decided that Rebecca wanted a baby and Sam wanted to prove his virility or some shit, like whatever it was. So that's when they started to try coupling. I don't think actually ever became a couple. But man, Sam and Diane, you talk about a dysfunctional what the fuck couple. Oh my God. Star-crossed lovers that there ever were from two completely different worlds. Holy hell. Definitely had consideration in my brain. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to jump ahead and going backwards because the couple I'm going to talk about now was mentioned earlier and not on a list, but they were mentioned. So I'm going to talk about them first. Archie and Edith, again. And again, this is probably going to get me some hate tweets. _ Jeff Meacham. You know where to find me, kids. I wish this type of show, this type of couple would work in 2024. And it's not going to. It's just so over the top now with how completely ignorant Archie was about his world. Comically ignorant in the 1970s and early 80s, but it just wouldn't fly. But for its time, it was wonderful. It was a great look into what society was really like. Because you think about sitcoms before All in the Family, Lucy, the Brady Bunch, it was all the families are okay. Nothing's wrong. Everything gets capped in 30 minutes and we're good to go. And even some of the other episodes of some of the shows, they maybe have a two-parter, but it was never dark like some of the stuff we got on All in the Family. And through it all, that lovable dingbat just stood by her bigoted bonehead. And one of the most poignant moments in television for me is when they spun All in the Family to Archie Bunker's place after the original show, it kind of like ended or whatever. And Gene Stapleton had left the show and they made a decision to kill Edith off camera. And Archie walks into the bedroom and it's just so despondent. It's like, you know, you weren't supposed to go first. You did wrong. It's not fair. And he's still, even then, like, just frustrated with the dingbat. And then he finally cracks and grabs her shoe and just balls. I think about that moment so much more in the 11 years since my grandparents have been gone. Because we're gonna get really cut deep here. Sorry. Her leaving first definitely hastened my grandpa's end. And I think if you look, it's not the same thing, but if you look at the show Archie Bunker's Place without the dynamic of Archie and Edith, it was on its final roll.
Yeah.
It really was. So since I already said what number one was for me, because it is the same as it was for you, I will talk about a couple that you would never have on your list because you don't watch this show. But for me, they've been on, they've been off, they've been on, they've been off. One has died, one has come, they've come back, they've gone through everything. Victor and Nikki from The Young and the Restless. And I know people look at me sideways when I talk about the soap opera, but it's my grandmother's fault. Send the letters that way. Watch that show to this day because of her. I was actually talking to a friend of mine yesterday who also watches the show. I still walk by Jeannie Cooper's Star, the Walk of Fame, every time I go out to Hollywood Highland and, say hello to the Grand Dame, Catherine Chancellor. But you talk about, and what made me mad about the list you and I both happened upon at the same time, Luke and Laura from General Hospital's on that list, but not Victor and Nikki. Like, what in the hell kind of biased bullshit is that? I get Luke and Laura was a great moment and a huge ratings thing in television history, but man, Victor and Nikki have endured, and even now the storytelling on that show with them is poignant and relatable and just powerful. And it's a soap opera couple. They're going to go through some shit, but they've been through some shit in the 45 years. Because actually, Melanie Thomas Scott actually celebrated her 45th anniversary of the show this week. So 1979-80 was when Eric Braeden first debuted in the Restless, and it's been a roller coaster akin to the Highway 138 ever since. And if you know, you know. If you don't, we'll just say Six Flags and let you guys be at that. Because if you think about the 138, you might get nauseous. For real. It's one of those. My mom used to watch one time and it was on. Of course, the only show on ABC now is GH, which is still a goddamn good show. But I think the time I was a kid and early teens, I think the soap opera landscape was very much akin to the golden age of wrestling in the 80s. Just at its best. And, you think about what's left. Oh, something made you chuckle. So, of course, number one, like we talked about.
If I'm being honest here, I did slightly, very slightly, contemplate putting either Sammy and Lucas or Sammy and EJ.
Oh my God, I love you for that. Yes. Yeah.
And of course, I owe that all to my ex for having to watch it with her.
Oh yeah.
But
oh yeah.
I would be lying to myself if I didn't say that it didn't enter my mind just a little bit.
Yeah. Definitely weird not seeing Alice in a Day of Days this year. I'm not gonna lie. It was last year.
I didn't want my manhood card revoked, but once you threw some soap opera shit up there, I felt like, okay, I can at least honorably mention it here now in retrospect. But
yeah, I mean, God, you think about all the couples on Days. Geez, we'll be here for another hour. Holy shit! Right. I've still got the freaking Brady's Pub apron from that one year we went. Nice. And I love Bo and Hope, but again, I don't watch Days near enough to Central Focus like I do YNR. So, anyway, talked about it earlier. There is no greater television couple than Lucy and Ricky. I mean, there's just not. They are absolutely the greatest of all time. They are the blueprint. And it's so difficult, not difficult. It's, I guess, almost cliche to look back at them now through a lens like we have now. It's like, Jesus Christ, no wonder Ricky drank. Look at the deal with. No wonder they smoked. Look at the deal with. But again, that's not how it was in the 50s. They just, hell, the cigarettes were the sponsor of the show. Crying out loud. They did commercials during the show. But yeah, I love Lucy. The dynamic? It's timeless. You can put on I Love Lucy right now, and it's probably on somewhere in the world right now anyway. So you probably can turn it on for real.
Legit.
And it just works.
It does.
All these years later. You know, it's not like All in the Family where you have to, okay, how much can we grind this through the calculator for make sure it's okay to air? It's like 90210 where, you know, even in the 90s, it was like, ooh, I don't know if we should do this. Like, you do it now, you gotta put it through a filter. I Love Lucy is pure black coffee. That's all it is. You pour it and you drink it, and it still works. 70-something, almost 70 years later.
Yep. Emmanuel made a great point when we went to commercial after I talked about Lucy.
Okay.
He said Lucy needed Ricky for her spinoffs.
Yeah.
They're okay, but they're missing the dynamic of Ricky telling her no or being able to teach her a lesson in retrospect.
I agree with that. They had Viv for a couple of the shows, and a couple episodes of one of the shows, but the dynamic with Lucy and Desi just never really got matched any other show she did. Even their kids were on the show with her, and it just wasn't the same. And I think they both knew that, which is why they didn't do it. I think they wanted to keep I Love Lucy special. And I think, and you gotta remember, they were as nice as they were to each other near the end. Stefano Marlena? I don't remember that happening. God, man, God, Marlena must have been on some weird psychedelics at that point. Jesus. John and Marlena I can get with. Anyway, we're going off into the weeds as usual. But yeah, people forget that, yes, they talked about each other great at the end, Lucy and Desi, but they were, the fact that they got through that last taping was unbelievable when you think about the history. Like, they kissed each other on stage goodbye, they walked out. I think Lucy filed for divorce the next day because it was just over. So I really think that's why we didn't see Desi on the other shows that Lucy did. And I think if they tried it may not have been any better as far as their relationship. I think they got along so well together because they stopped working together.
Maybe.
And again, we can thank Lucy for Star Trek. She made sure that show stayed on the air just enough to get that third season. And get the number of episodes you needed to get into syndication. And here we are, 60-something years later. You figure this year is the 60th year anniversary of the pilot of Star Trek. And that's all because Lucy. So that's why I love Lucy. One of many reasons. Yeah, Lucy and Ricky for me. Both of us.
Yeah.
Best TV couple ever. There you go. Joint separate lists, and we still coming together on number one. You love to see it.
Absolutely. You know, I will say I was a little bit surprised you didn't have Ross and Rachel being a Friends guy.
I meant to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, they were on my list. I just forgot to put the graphic in there. So there's a botch on my part.
Botch.
But yeah, Ross and Rachel's on my list. I just forgot to add the graphic for whatever reason. But yeah, they're there. And I you know, they shouldn't be. They're toxic. They're crazy. They're both a couple of crazy people. It's. I think that dynamic's different for me for David and Donna coming together at the end, and then Ross and Rachel coming together because it was just so fantastically over the top with Ross and Rachel all throughout the 10 years. As far as the Family Matters families, Urkel and Laura, and then Carl and Harriet, I love that show. I did not watch the last couple seasons of Family Matters when it moved to CBS. So I missed Urkel and Steve actually becoming a couple, or Urkel and Laura actually becoming a couple. Stefan and Laura was great, but again, that was one of those, I think it jumped the shark when they cloned Steve, and it's like, I have a way out of this. And Stefan was a permanent person. I was like, okay. because then you lost hope that it would actually be Steve and Laura at the end until it happened. So for me, that was when I lost the moment with those two. Carl and Harriet, I think, is one of those just great TV couples. But again, toward the end, Joe Marie left and they brought in somebody else. It was like, no. It was different for me. But definitely honorable mentions because I do love that show, period. Just didn't make top 10.
Yeah, I stopped watching Family Matters after a while.
Yeah.
And kind of had given up on hope for Steve and Laura.
Yeah. Kind of hard not to. It made it challenging.
That's why I didn't put that there. Carl and Harriet, they were cute, but not enough to like really resonate a spot on my list.
Yeah.
They did have such good chemistry that they've done a couple of TV movies together where they play couples and stuff. Like they've come back together.
Yeah.
I remember, I haven't actually watched it yet, but I remember a couple years ago, Vudu had like a 99-cent sale on like Hallmark Lifetime Christmas movies.
Okay.
And there was a movie called The Flight Before Christmas, and both of them are in it together.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I went ahead, I snatched that one up for $1 just because I was like, okay, Carl and Harriet are together in a Hallmark Christmas movie. Let's do the thing. I'm down.
Yes.
I still haven't watched it yet, but still, like,
as long as Reg isn't playing a cop at Christmas, I think we're in good shape.
You know.
Just saying. And what the real reason I think I didn't put them on the list is because at the end of the day, Harriet was spun off. That was her show from Perfect Strangers. And then it became the Urkel show. I was like, it's supposed to be about Harriet and her relationship with Carl and her whole family. And now we're focusing on the neighbor. It's like, all right. And yes, they were brought up earlier again. You know, hard not to love Winnie and Kevin. Never watched it myself, but I know he did.
For the super chat, Emmanuel, like Jeff pointed out, that was on my list. They were number 4, I think, for me.
Yeah, and that one did surprise me. They didn't end up together. That was a bummer. But, you know, it made sense when you watch it back. So, all right. Let me get new Excalibur mode. Time for the shills.
Yes. Don't Excalibur yourself.
Okay.
Take your time.
Okay.
It's not even 11:30 yet.
Oh shit, it's not. Good call.
Theoretically, we could do this for another 30 minutes going on about the shills. So
it's fair.
Breathe. Take your time.
Yes.
We can elaborate a little bit about some of these.
True.
And
before we get
again,
to
much like I threw up there a moment ago, friendly reminder, everybody, super chats are how we make money. So if you want to throw up a name and have us discuss that maybe we forgot, feel free. Super chat. It's as simple as that, but try to spread the love around.
Yes.
Super chats have been a little bit Jeff heavy today, so maybe try and throw a few more back toward my side, make it a little bit even.
Yes, definitely. Especially with what's going on today, because again, we are trying our damnedest. Let me, I don't have that graphic in here yet, but I will. We are trying here at the Multiverse of Media, our damnedest to get our buddy JJ to join myself and Miss Attila in Las Vegas. Where the hell is the graphic? I know I made it. There it is. I find it is okay. We are doing our damnedest to get the Renegade to join us up in Las Vegas for TNA's Rebellion pay-per-view, as well as the Impact tapings the next day. We just need help from you guys at home. So send your money, send your donations to JJ on PayPal. The link is at the bottom there at Renegade JJ Williams, one word from PayPal. The reason, and again, we talked about this a little bit. I haven't been on live very much this week, so that's my bad. But
really, I hadn't noticed.
My kid needs my help. You being nice.
I'm messing with you.
Yeah, I know you messing with me. You know, flights are a thing. especially where he lives out in the boonies. You got to get done. When Ontario's closest airport, you got to fly where you got to fly from. Driving into LA is a bitch. The hotel is the long famous Circus, which is, right there. It's convenient. It's, it's the most inexpensive of the expenses, if that makes any sense. And we know it's comfortable and we know it's reliable, unlike some of these other dodgy ass places. And then
it's the cheapest hotel on the strip.
Yes. And the rest of the money is honestly just, for people that don't go to Vegas a lot, the construction's always a thing. The transit, while reliable, still has to give way to physics. Sometimes you just can't get around these traffic jams, these construction areas. That's what an Uber is for, and a Lyft is for, and ride shares are for. Yes. So that is why it seems so high. Trust and believe, we got that thing tapered down. So I don't think 500 is a whole lot to ask for to help this brother get to Vegas.
Yes.
So
and it can be increments. We don't expect any one person to drop $500 in my PayPal.
Yeah, God, no, that's crazy.
But if we can get $10 here, $20 there, someone feeling generous maybe wants to throw a 50 or 100.
Yes.
That all very much loved and appreciated.
Yes. We see a super chat in there and he's shilling, which, that's fine because we can't go to that one, but we definitely want to encourage people to make that happen.
Yes. So we'll go ahead. We'll throw to that next then because it is a super chat. Thank you very much, Big G.
Yes, sir.
Big G and Mr. Reliable Walter Cruz are trying to do a no DQ meetup in Philly for Mania.
Yep.
Both of them will be there. I'm assuming Friday through Monday. Big G, you can correct me in the chat if I'm incorrect on that.
G's going to be part of that fan thing or whatever. So yeah.
But I think both of them are going to be there Friday through Monday. So any day that you'd like to try to do the meetup, realistically, they'd probably shoot for Friday or Monday because Saturday, Sunday are WrestleMania days.
Yes.
Those are going to be the most chaotic to try to do it.
No, for real.
And he says correct all 4 days. So hit up Big G or Walter if you've got their graphics. You want to throw them up real quick so people know where they can find them.
Have them ready, but I will. Here, give me a second.
No worries. Take your time. Or we could just switch to the open mic night thing real quick because
that's okay. I need their graphics in here anyway because I need to be able to have them ready. So that's a good way to remind me to do it now.
Jeff is loading up the graphics and he will show you how you can get in touch with either Big G or Walter to try to arrange that.
Well, here comes Big G's if you want to click on that one while I load the other one. I know Walter's in here somewhere.
So there's Big G. You can find him. Probably the best to message would be either Twitter at @NoDQ_BigBallerG or Instagram @NoDQ_BigBallerG1988. He is also on TikTok at BigBallerG1988, but I don't know what messaging is like on TikTok because I don't have a TikTok.
Yeah, I also want to get Walter's
TikTok. So
I want to get Walter's information up there because you guys did a show yesterday. So I definitely want to make sure I plug his YouTube. What the bloody hell is that damn thing? I know I saved it recently. Not for fuck's sake. Go ahead and flip to the other side.
Once they make that an official announcement, that is definitely something I will be worrying about.
Yes. Well, for Walter, it's at Walter Alex Cruz.
On Twitter, yes.
Yes.
Mania tickets have been on sale. I think they're close to being sold out at Cape Rare.
Yeah, they are more than on sale. They've been offering the premium stuff since like summer.
After Mania this year.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's like, okay, Raw after Mania is in the books. Tickets are on sale for WrestleMania 40.
Yeah, that's how they've done it now. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun weekend. Again, it is what it is. Everybody's got a plan if they get punched in the face, and life punches you in the face sometimes. But we will be more than happy covering WrestleMania here from home and across the multiverse of media. But before we get to WrestleMania, we've got a whole bunch of other stuff coming up just in the next couple weeks. Let me briefly,
next couple of days, let alone
yeah,
couple of weeks.
yes. Let me quickly show my friends real quick. The LA Dolls, they'll be in Santa Monica at Harvell's on 4th Street. Tickets are $10. Doors are at 8. Shows at 9:30. There's the QR code for that show. If you want to book the LA Dolls for any event musically, there is the QR code to book them directly. I just got a DM from somebody that works at Y&R talking about doing an interview for her stuff. So, like, literally came through right now. So we will book that, and I'll advertise it when I have it finalized.
I'm
all right.
seeing LA Dolls doing a lot of stuff. Is Ariel like taking a sabbatical from
So
Paradise Kitty?
Ariel's no longer the primary guitar person. She got a gig working with Debbie Gibson, and yeah, and they're kind of like doing the tour thing. They're leaving Saturday to go down on the 80s cruise that Debbie's part of. So she'll be gone for that. So they have a wonderful new guitarist in place named Candace, who's also kind of like the roadie. I love Candace. She's great. But Ariel's doing the Dolls thing. She's doing her own solo stuff, and she's touring with Debbie. So everybody's kind of all over the place. She's always welcome to come back, but she's no longer on the primary rotation, if that makes any sense.
That's what I was trying to figure out, is like if there was maybe any kind of like, lack of a better term, breakup.
Oh no.
Or if it's just, you know, she's doing so much success in her own projects, she doesn't have time for the other girls.
Yeah, it was very much unlike the other ladies that have parted from the Kitties. It was very amicable. Everything is okite.
Got it.
Now, as far as
us, mess your flow up, Excalibur. Continue.
No, you're good, brother. No, it's good because a lot more than just you asked me about the Kitties and why they don't see who they saw when I was plugging them before. So, what I will plug and what you will see is tomorrow. It is a TNA kind of night on Friday.
Oh, yes.
We are starting at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific with Simply Predicting TNA No Surrender. That'll be, of course, with JJ and Noah and hopefully me this time. But we'll see. No guarantees on me appearing on camera because of my scheduling, but I will be in the director's chair for that, as well as the return to TNA Plus and their premium live event, No Surrender, which is at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific with our coverage. As far as Saturday morning,
yes,
we love our fans. We are enjoying the card that's being built for Australia, but we are also old and we are also tired, and we are not getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning to get ourselves gussied up for a 2 o'clock stream. That shit ain't happening. So, based on that, Saturday morning, noon Eastern on the East Coast, obviously, but 9 a.m. Pacific, we will be live with our coverage, slightly delayed, of the final premium live event stop on the road to WrestleMania. It's the Elimination Chamber in Perth, Australia.
Yes, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern.
Yes, that will be on Saturday morning. Of course, I'll open mic night Saturday night, as we do, because we'll actually get a chance to nap ski between, which is always good.
Well, probably won't, but you know.
Well, I'm gonna.
There's the opportunity to.
Yes, I definitely will. Now, here's where it gets fun, because next weekend has turned into a start of a week of shit. Because we've got, in order, Hard Times, AEW Revolution, and the final match.
Back to Hard Times real quick.
Sure.
Keep in mind, Hard Times is still kind of a question mark because we haven't gotten definitive information from Billy Corgan or NWA that this will be streamed on CW.
Okay.
I keep trying to hype that when I plug it because I don't want people to be mad if it ends up getting canceled.
No, that's fair.
But this is the first time NWA is trying to do this. Everything I have read, let me try to get that out again. Everything that I have read, whether it is a reputable source or a bullshit source like a Meltzer, has led me to believe that Hard Times will be streamed just like WWE PLEs on the Peacock.
Right.
That it'll be on the CW app at the time posted, which would
Yes.
be 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific.
Correct.
As long as that is all accurate information, then we will be doing this and calling it.
Yes.
If for some
Yes.
reason we find out at the last minute that it is being taped and will be streamed later, then we'll just call it when we find out it's finally being streamed.
Yes.
But I try to put that disclaimer out there when it comes to hard times, because this is the first time NWA is doing this, and I
Right.
don't want it to fall on us if
Right.
it has to be canceled last minute. So I try to make sure
Yes.
that little bit of quid pro quo, that clause, if you will,
Yes.
is out there, and that as long as information that we have received ends up being accurate, and even the sun shines on Meltzer's ass every once in a while, then yes, that Saturday, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern, probably 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 Eastern start time for us, we will be doing hard times.
Well, it shines there when Tony makes sure that moss on the back is grown nice and pure for him shining on it. So anyway.
Now you may pick up the Excaliburine, but I just like to try to get that out there.
Yes.
Each time we mention hard times. So
what we know is going to happen the next day will be hard times for all of us fans of the man called Sting. It is his final match, the last showtime against the Bucks, teaming up with Darby. And what is going on with Ric Flair after last night is what I want to know. Oh boy.
I can't even call them the Bucks anymore. I just call them the Massey brothers.
Right.
Because, they want to go by their legal name, Nicholas and Matthew Jackson. Jackson's not your last name, dipshit. It's Massey. So if you want to go by your legal name, I call them Nick and Matt Massey, the Massey brothers.
Oh boy. Either way, we will see them against Darby and Sting on Saturday, March 3rd. God help me. God help me. I want to get through this. We'll be on the air with that. I think they go live at 7 o'clock with their pre-show. So are we. Eastern, 4 Pacific. And yeah, as far as Chamber, no, we ain't. Yeah, no. I was going to. I really was, because I knew some people would want to do it. And I was graciously, thankfully talked out of it. So, no.
Honestly, if we, it's no secret that we've been looking to move for a minute. Even the fans know that. That's why this still isn't out of its box, because we're not going to take it out just to have to repack it.
Right. Yeah, that's stupid. Yeah.
But if we had moved into a new place by now, then we probably would have done it, because the garage would then turn into my studio and I wouldn't have to worry about disturbing people.
Right. That's fair.
On any given evening, I traditionally have kids sleeping beyond this wall.
Right.
And my woman sleeping beyond that wall.
Yes.
So to try to start a pay-per-view call at 1 a.m. our time, 4 a.m. East Coast time, and then be loud, hype, that is not good for my health.
That is a recipe for us to have to put a disclaimer up saying we had a live murder on our show. We didn't intend for that.
I am not trying to get turned into a tauntaun.
Right. It may be cold up there, Victor, but it ain't that cold. We need a gun at tauntaun to keep warm, okay? Just throwing that shit out there.
So, and if you understand that reference, you are our people.
Yeah, yeah.
If you do not, go watch Han Solo and what he does in Empire Strikes Back, because clearly you haven't seen it and you don't get the joke.
Yeah.
But
it's like the first half hour. There's no excuse at that point.
For real.
But what will happen for sure if he ended up doing something like that, it'd be a huge roadblock to his existence continuing.
That's right.
And we will have coverage of NXT Roadblock.
Yes.
Coming up.
If we can get Dattila to 1,000 subscribers by March 4th,
yes,
you will have to watch and review Roadblock along with every NXT TV special and PLE.
Yes.
She is 17 subscribers away. At this point, y'all, I'm like, dude, go create some dummy YouTube accounts and just subscribe to her to get the count up.
Yes.
We want Dattila to have to cover NXT.
That's right. Well,
I stick behind this, and I was going to get more in depth in it today before I had to cancel my morning show. I will discuss Dynamite tomorrow, but this week's NXT was better than Dynamite.
Oh, wow. Okay. Good to know, because I missed both, so I have some catching up to do. I will say this. Part of Open Mic Night this weekend will also be JJ's decision on whether he continues on with his TNA viewings after No Surrender, because No Surrender will be in the books by Saturday night. So we will get the Renegade's decision about TNA coverage on For the Love of Wrestling Saturday night, or Open Mic Night. So stay tuned for that.
And I will say, I'm already leaning one way over the other.
Okay.
No Surrender will definitely be the final. It can definitely make or break.
Yes. And if the worst happens and No Surrender doesn't deliver, then we will have to sacrifice the loss of For Love Wrestling on Friday mornings. But TNA will be having their own sacrifice a week after I turn 41 and sacrifice what's left of my youth. Friday night, March 8th. Again, it'll be in the usual time slot, probably around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock Eastern, 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll be on the air with that. Now, they did add one more to our list because, again, the curly-headed wonder just can't keep us from working, which is fine. I don't mind, because Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, as we said, will be Friday, April 5th. That's all coming up on the watch-along sides here on the Multiverse of Media.
The curly-haired wonder is giving us something before Supercard of Honor, though, is he not? Or do you not have
he
that
was
graphic loaded in?
He was, but that one was part of the trailer. I just happened to see that. I forgot I mentioned Supercard of Honor earlier. If I'm being real, I forgot I mentioned that.
Sacrifice was part of the trailer too, but
no, they all are. But Sacrifice and Roadblock and Revolution and Hard Times are all like in like the next week and a half, and we weren't expecting all that shit in a week and a half after Chambers. So it was like we got too much to do, and it's great. We love it. But yeah, they're going to Boston. Very heavily rumored that Mercedes Moné is going to debut, especially with the addition of the recent WWE departee from Creative, now officially with AEW, who is a big Mercedes Moné person. So it's kind of one of those, if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, it probably sucks at hockey, but it's a duck. So very likely we're going to see the boss in Boston, which is great for you Mercedes Moné fans.
And for those of you like me who are indifferent, it's another woman that'll be in catering within 6 months.
All for that.
Stop me when I'm telling lies.
Your opinion may not be wrong in facts or probability, but you're still wrong for that.
All I'm saying is, how long has Saraya been with AEW?
I know.
And with the exception of her moment in Wembley, what has she done that's been memorable?
Hey, she is the sole reason.
What has she done that has been memorable?
Her machinations have led Ange and Ruby together. You give her the credit for this being a thing, damn it.
No.
It was her mistakes.
It was her that tried to break them up. She has done nothing that has been memorable.
I know.
Deonna Purrazzo, the virtuosa, long may she fucking reign.
That's right.
Is having a moment right now.
Yes.
But if she goes down to Tony at Revolution and Mercedes comes in a week later, Deonna's going to be an afterthought. So I'm just saying.
It's not invalid. You are correct.
Madison Rayne was on TV for the first time in how fucking long this week?
That's fair. But she's also a coach in there all the time anyway.
Doesn't matter.
Matters to me.
Doesn't matter. She could be getting more TV time.
It's good.
Instead of showing the same 5 girls every week.
Yes, or the same 10 people, 10 guys. But, yeah. That I do believe will do it for us this morning, almost afternoon now, on the Dads. Thank you guys for watching. We will be back in March with our what are we doing in March? I forgot what we're doing. We'll have graphics during open mic night. We'll have the discussion off air, and we'll let you know what we're doing for March. But
be on the lookout, because it's usually all wrestling topics in March as we get ready for WrestleMania.
Yes. And just so everybody is aware, I was told last night, the band I saw last night, Jesse Fury and the Sound, their next show is at the Cafe Hotel, but it's on March 30th. And I said, nope, I am booked. We have our open mic night wrestling karaoke that night. So thank you guys. I will clap from here. But we're singing wrestling songs that night to kick off WrestleMania week. Damn it! So
damn right.
And we're gonna butcher the hell out of those songs, because that's what we do on this damn multiverse of media. By God, we butcher some of the greatest songs of all time, be they wrestling themes, be they Tay-Tay songs. We are here not to talk about wrestling. We're not here to rank things. We are here to shill shit and ruin songs for all of you in this world. That's what we're here for.
Damn right. And really quickly before we sign off, we did forget to show the top 10 that Walter and I did yesterday.
Yes.
Go to Rage of Wrestling or the Casa D18 Studios and check out the top 10. How did he call it?
Top 10
matches or something like that.
Yeah, misbooked feuds. And you're not wrong.
Top 10 matches where the wrong person won, basically.
Yeah, and that is, man, that list was solid, because damn it, if it didn't get you to think. Whew. So be looking out for that. It's out there now on demand. Check out.
He's
Walter.
talking about doing top 10s on the non-dads weeks.
There you go.
So there'll be a little alternating there between
him
and whoever he can get to join him for that week.
Yes. Perfect. That is perfect. We thank you for watching at home. We thank you for all the super chats today. That's always appreciated. And again, keep them coming as we get through No Surrender, the Elimination Chamber, and finally get through this weekend and get on that final leg of the road to WrestleMania. But there's a revolution in store between now and then. So be looking out for us across the multiverse. He is the Renegade. I'm the Mage. We'll see you next time.
The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.